So Kevy Brennan is really obsessed with what's going into your pocket.
Kevy Brennan and his
Let me say.
If you're not sure if you want to send her money to make it better, just write the word on the envelope, and it will find its way. Because it bothers him, and I don't care.
So she's, what do you call it, collateral damage?
No, it's not in collateral damage. He says, because I love all his minions in that 8th grade chat room running to him when he just lives in a fucking bubble in his house.
It is kind of sad. You feel bad a little bit.
And he has said the most horrific things about Keanu.
True.
Who is a person that he knows. And then all the people in the chat go, well, it's different because she's in entertainment. His wife's not. It's my girl. It's his girl. And
right.
And you can make whatever rules you want about Keanu and Kevin Brennan's, who, oh my God, speaking of giant holes, we missed 3 potholes on the way in. I don't care.
Dude, this city's roads are torn the fuck up.
Oh, and much like Kevin's wife, they're getting plugged by black guys. So it's a good thing because no one cares. And
leave Jimmy Martinez out of this.
And Kevin Brennan just said, Kevin, what are you going to do? He'll never be in the same room with me again. I believe I said I would Pedro Martinez him, which just means I'd be like, get away from me, you sad old man.
Like that. Yeah.
And someone needs, and I'm trying to help the guy, someone needs to snap him back into reality because life isn't sitting in boxes and fucking, shitting on fucking Bob Levy and whoever the fuck else wants to be there. It's not. At some point, you need to leave the house, take your kids and I don't care what you do. But again, I don't care. Well, that's now you're attacking families. No one's attacking families. I'm just making a fucking observation about your wife. She's a cool. I don't care.
I mean, Keanu raised a good point. She said he did release revenge porn on me, which is kind of illegal.
He posted naked pictures of her. He gave out my address, and then when he got banned, he's like, Geno, and we were working at the time because we were in a studio, and he's like, he just makes lie after lie up, and maybe it will upset him when I give you facts like his wife is 2 things.
Oh, boy.
So, again, I don't care.
Now, wait a minute. How is that a fact? That seems like an opinion. Do you have documentation?
I have dickumentation. Ask me how not funny that joke was.
I didn't set that up.
Thank you for putting a little bow on
Not true. I repeat, not true.
I'm sure she's a wonderful woman, but who cares?
Yeah, I'm sure she's she seems like an innocent.
Ask the Knicks. She's a wonderful woman.
So she was like a hostess.
As the New York,
and I believe it's Knickerbockers.
That's what I said.
Kevin is sadly obsessed with you, and what you're doing. Like, if you're going to here's like all these old guys, their inability to understand that the internet is temporary and just a fun, silly thing you do to make a little money.
Yeah.
And then you go have a light. You live this internet shit, you're going to drive yourself insane. And I said this to them for a year, and I've given up. I've left it all alone. And I've said, look, you guys keep proving me right on this shit.
Yeah.
I got to tap out. Like, you guys are just, it's hard to watch.
It's sad. Not even, we were saying, sorry to interrupt, it's not even fun noise anymore.
It's not even fun noise. You and I were talking about this. And now I think a lot of his rage is coming from the fact that the super chats are drying up. The money just isn't there anymore. And it can't be. You can't hold that shit up for that long. When your whole show is about one thing or one person, it's really hot for a while. And then it tapers off. It goes away. Like, his whole show has always been like that. It's gone in peaks and valleys. You think, oh, Kevin Brennan died. And then a year later, it goes back up again. Oh, Kevin Brennan's making some noise. And then, I think he died again. But his obsession with you is odd. Like, yesterday, someone sent me a clip of him going, oh, somebody told me Geno's making $4,000 to go be with Steel Toe. And it's
like, cut my pay?
Yeah. I was going to say, no, it's actually 20. Now you don't know where I'm coming from.
Obviously, I'm making $4,000.
But in my head, I just went, you miserable fuck. Like, if he was... what does it matter?
Yeah.
Like, let's say Geno made $4,000. That would mean that I said, well, we've got $4,000 to pay Geno. And Geno asked for $4,000. And Geno got $4,000. Good for me. I got what I wanted. Good for Geno. He got what I wanted. You would think Kevin Brennan, of all people, like, that shouldn't bother you at all. Unless, I don't know. Are you upset that you're not getting paid to do comedy anymore? Are you upset that, look, you found out what we've all found out about all of our shows that we're okay with. These things have a limit to them.
Yeah.
There's a certain level you're going to hit, and then you're never going to punch through that. And is it anger about that? Is it anger about the super chats? Is it something special about you? I couldn't stop laughing about it because I'm like, if I paid him $4,000 and we're doing a sold out show with hundreds of people there tomorrow, what is it like? And as far as Kevin and I, you and I are not connected in any way. There's no connecting tissue. You and I do not do the same thing. You do Misery Loves Company. I do a show. You and I are not connected. What grounds do you have to be so upset about this? And also, why are you letting it make you so fucking unhinged?
And I've said this, and it's so obvious when you look at it. That is all Kevin Brennan rates stuff on. It is numbers. It is money. It is, oh my God, he only had this many people. Like, I do a stream now once a week. Actually, I've been choppy with it because I've been traveling a lot, leaving my home, Kevin, doing comedy. And this is a guy that grew up, he's the oldest of 10 children. The last, bastion of the Irish Catholic family. He might be the second oldest. Either way, it works. So he grew up in that Irish Catholic household, right? Yeah. Watching every kid get a little bit more than him. Okay?
It happens,
and it happens. And thank God.
Especially in careers.
And that's where so every kid gets a little bit more than him. So again, it culminates with Neil being one of the youngest, if not the youngest. And in real life in his family, he got more. And before, all the stuff happened with us, I said, Kevin Brennan, he would always bitch about Bill. And I said, this is Kevin Brennan. Watch. I'll be Kevin Brennan, okay?
Yeah.
You be Anthony Cumia, and you say, you say, here are 4 bags of gold, Kevin. What?
Holy shit.
You didn't have to improv, but I love it. Okay. Now, your line is, Kevin, here are 4 bags of gold. Just hand them to me.
Kevin, here are 4 bags of gold.
Why does Bill get half a bag of gold?
Right, yeah. I don't.
Bill just got half a bag of gold. Do you want these 4 bags, Bill? And that is how he is with everyone. And as if he wasn't broken enough with his family life and Neil, then imagine you go into comedy, and we will be the first to admit this. I'd say he's infinitely funnier than his brother Neil, but you can't multiply by 0. But Brennan was a brilliant comedian, and then he watches. And by the way, I always forget this. Kevy Brennan was on Star Search, and he lost to Dave Chappelle, who would go on
honor.
Yes, but Dave Chappelle would then go on to make his little brother like his parents. He's his comedy daddy. He made Neil a multi-millionaire. Right. So he's broken. So to answer your question from 3 hours ago, that's why he's like that. Everything is money and numbers, and that's why he sabotaged Carl. And he's like, John, don't do it, because he paid him $3,000. That's 1/10 of what I'm making this weekend. $3,000. Just bounce the check. I'm used to it. $3,000.
Don't cash it till Monday of 2037.
How great is this? We're hanging out.
It's pretty goddamn effortless.
But again, that's why he's like that with all of us. It's like Geno can't make money because I'm not making $30,000 or $3. You could have said I'm paying you $100. He's like, I'm not working this weekend, and it will bother him because to him life is just like, who's getting more money, who's getting more viewers, who's getting more super chats. And by the way, Kev, if that's what you want, and look, God bless. I was getting drunk on this in the hotel by the airport last night, tailgating to see our friends. How great is that?
And Kevin, to answer your question, if you are wondering who's watching more, your show, then 1,100 watching us, so the answer would be us. But anyway.
Right. Thank you.
When it comes to Kevin, I can't. And then he goes, and Steel Toe, you can't even watch that show. It's terrible. It's good. I don't need, the attitude that Kevin Brennan has, no offense. The show I've built over the last 9 years was never meant to be enjoyed by a Kevin Brennan. Yeah. And I mean that with all due respect. I know you don't. But I mean that with all due respect, because I don't dislike Kevin. I watch Kevin like you would observe a new species in the wild. I just kind of stare at it like a dog reacting to a high-pitched sound. I just kind of tilt my head. He's like a midget that you put your hand on his forehead and he swings angrily at your belly and you go, let me know when you're done.
Yeah.
It's amazing to watch him rage at the sky, yell at the sky, yell about you making money. It's like, have something. Do so. You have a thing. You have fans. You have, go do your own event. I always tell people when they're like, I fucking hate Steel Toe, or I hate Geno. They're doing this. They're doing that. First of all, stop listing our good qualities and the things we're accomplishing, because it doesn't make you look good. And number 2, if it upsets you so much, do something with that. Exercise it. Go do an event. Go bring a few hundred people to an event that you do, and you'll go, oh, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I don't have time to watch these other people.
And Does he think that we can, please go on.
He can say what he wants about Shuli, and is Shuli a deceptive Jew? Yes, but it's not Shuli's fault. Shuli's Jewish. He can't help himself. But Shuli's just doing a fucking show. He found out what worked for him. It's just John all the time. It's just stuttering John 24/7.
Yeah.
It works for him. Carl's a different one because Carl doesn't need John, but he keeps doing it. I think it's just a labor of love. He's got a wonderful show outside. I think it's better without John.
Yeah.
But whatever. But Shuli has that thing. It drives Kevin nuts. Shuli's Jewish. He loves Kevin Brennan going nuts more than we do. So you know he enjoys that shit. So why are you going after Shuli? Shuli has a show. He's doing his thing. You know, I may have shit on his producer really hard, and his producer likes to shit on me.
Joe?
That guy's oh, man, you talk about. But you know what? Fine.
But I like how Joe fucks with Ray DeVito. I love how Joe fucks with Ray DeVito.
Making me choose between who's a more pathetic sack of shit.
I'm sorry.
It's too difficult.
Right.
But like, even his obsession with you, his obsession with Shuli, it's like, these guys are not swinging on you. They're not swinging on you. They're not going after you. What is it going to take? And I guess this is a 40-year, 60-year question for him. What's it going to take for you to be happy?
He's never going to be happy. He literally is happy being miserable. And we've talked about this. Our friend, and by the way, I say this all the time on my stream, Red Bar, he's king. I can't get enough of these people.
You got to say this to him as soon as you can because he might not be here tomorrow.
Thank you. And I said this. I said this 2-3 years ago. When you and this is Kevin as well, when you speak in the language of hatred and toxicity, that's what you attract in. It adheres to you. And would you want to do a show like Red Bar and all these copiers made famous? And I'm sorry, Brennan's one of those. All these guys are, where you just either watch shows or have people watching for you, and you shit on people for doing something that you failed at. That is going to make you miserable. It is going to adhere to your soul. I'm sorry. And if you think I'm like just trying to sell you a Dianetics book, look at a picture of Red Bar like 10 years ago and look at him now. Look at Daddy 10 years ago before he got his shit together. I miss you.
You understand, yes, Mike David's...
Is he talking to us? Is he talking to us? Hey, buddy, what's up?
You understand Mike David is only 40 years old?
You better be lying.
He's 40.
And you think Kevy Brennan would look at this and have you looked at Kevin now versus take a look at Kevin Brennan like literally 4 years ago.
Yeah.
He had hair, not a lot, but he had hair.
He looks like he just got pulled out of a river.
He really does. He looks like he looks like the inverse of E.T. He's just fucking beet red. And this is why, like, we're lucky to hang out and, you know, work with people we really like and respect and you know, like, get to make people laugh. That's the goal. And I'm sorry if you think, and that's why it keeps you happy. It keeps you younger. And like Kevin Brennan, he can't be saved. I'm sorry. Yeah. And I hope he gets out while she can. See, that's staying on brand. And I mean it. Like, he moved to South Jersey. And
can I point something out?
Please.
This is going to be Aaron and Geno interrupting each other all day.
I do.
You understand? I just found a parallel between MLC and this program now. You understand you going...
Sell tickets because we're sold out. We haven't sold a ticket all day.
Actually, we sold 4 standing room tickets this morning.
But
anyway, but you understand that if we were on Misery Loves Company and you're Bob... Or I'm sorry, if you're Kevin and I'm Bob, and you say, and Bob were to go, like I'm doing, like no. Kevin go, fuck you, Bob! Fuck you, you piece of shit!
Yeah.
Why aren't you agreeing with everything? He shits on Shuli all the time. Bob does a show with Shuli.
And it's a good show.
Kevin doesn't understand that if Bob has to, Kevin's got to watch himself. I know he's got too much pride to watch himself,
right?
But it's pride born out of hubris and arrogance, not out of intelligence.
Right.
He's got to watch that shit he says to Bob because he's under this idea that if Bob has to make a decision, he's picking Kevin Brennan.
Yeah.
Like if Bob has to make a decision, he's going with Shuli.
I don't know.
Really?
No. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Oh,
because it's like. Bob was bitching. Shuli's getting sick of Bob as well.
Oh, see, I don't watch the shit.
Let me say this, and I hope you're right, because I'm not lying when I say, when I wake up in the morning, you know, I'll pop into your chat and bug you too for a fucking while. It was so funny. Me and Keanu were up at our own apartments the other day, and we were just chatting in your feed. We love that shit.
Oh, shit.
I will wake up and watch this, but you guys... Like, when you're done, I'll fucking rewind BS. I'll put that on because that's not a bad show. It's if you're telling me two Stern vets, two of the Stern guys that were funny guys, are doing a show, three if you include Mike because he did some writing for it, that's a great show. But it's not as
if
good
only
as,
they could find a producer.
but it's not as good as it can be because Bob is sitting there whenever things get going. He looks at Shuley and he knows he's about to betray him, Judas, every time he goes to the other show. And then when he goes to the other show, he knows he's going to get yelled at. So while Bob has a pool, thank God, he's chain smoking and miserable, and that show's not what it can be. But he keeps going. One more sentence, and then I'll let you finish because I just want your. Because you know this better than me, but then he goes back to fucking Brennan. Why?
Yeah.
Because the money, the super chats are still, I don't know what he's super chatting now, it seems less, but he's still paying him more, and it's consistent. If he can only do one, he would do fucking MLC one time a day instead of what he's doing there.
You know, people think you and I are, you know, the Brennans and the Bobs and these other people in the world. They kind of get on us because, they have to say they're right all the time. But, like, the shit we say does come true 3 months later. So I was saying, I'm like, Bob can't be doing all these podcasts. Bob's going to burn out. He's going to realize living on the internet is no way to live because as big of a narcissist as entertainers are, the praise is never going to be enough and you're always going to read too much of the negative. So you just got to walk away and go do your shit and entertain your audience.
Yeah.
And Bob's realized that now. Yesterday he said, I'm cutting out all my evening. I can't do a Bob Levy. He said, I'm cutting out all my evening podcasts. I'm just doing BS and MLC because I can't do it anymore. I can't hang. I can't handle doing all this shit, and I can't live on the computer all the time. I have to have time with my wife. And I'm like, did I not just get shit on by all these people for months?
Yeah.
For saying this exact same thing? Like, hey, you guys got to bail on this internet shit for a while. You got to go have a life. April and I go do all kinds of shit together when the show's over. You guys got to do that same thing. Oh, these guys can't handle the internet, this and that. And then 3 months later, they're ripping off the same thing I just said.
Yeah. And I think we're the same when it comes to...
I'm getting all worked up with you. I'm sweating over it. I'm going to reek after that. I'm going to have to shower again before golf.
What are you going to live forever? So the stuff we say, though, it's not like... And it's from talking about MLC all the way up. The stuff we're saying is never like, I'm a researcher or I'm a psychologist. It's common sense. Yeah. Bob is doing too many shows. He's not enjoying half the ones he's doing. Fucking saw the Runaway Train. It was this week, one day. And by the way, Fred Rubino on Thursday's show, he is just an insane all the time. I love him. But I've said this, like, when people, what you said earlier, oh my God.
By the way, number 8 live overall.
When people say they don't like fucking, excuse me, when Kevin Brennan's like, yeah, no one likes them. I can't tell you the number of times your wife has texted me, Aaron's upset again because he said, why can't I get those MLC people to like? He's beside himself, Geno. Can you send him a pick me up text? Well, I don't understand what I need to do to get 1,000 repetitive, hateful people to like a show that's not talking about them.
Why won't a miserable, angry, bitter, jealous, has-been, bog-trotting potato farmer follow my program?
Yeah. Yeah, and then
I'd rather have Shuley the Jew.
How many times, and I want to apologize on air now to my dear friend Aaron for all the times I texted you, what can I do to make Kevin's fans like me? I've got to stop texting you.
He's lying. He doesn't text me, he calls me sobbing. And he just goes, said, what can I do to make Kevin Brennan's fans like me?
What's keeping me from being on Joe Rogan? The 1,000 MLC fans. If they would just embrace me, I'm on Rogan. Why won't they love me?